Thank you for watching QTV News with the news. My name is Diana SUMBWE. We take a look at our top stories. President Edgar Lungu has condemned University of Zambia students for their violent conduct during their protest against xenophobic attacks in South Africa. The South African Development Community SADC has been called upon to take urgent action on the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. And the 2019-2020 rainy season forecast indicates that much of the country is likely to receive normal to above normal rainfall. Another news in detail. At least 6 students have been picked up by police after their protest at the South African High Commission in Lusaka turned violent. The students, mostly from the University of Zambia, who were dressed in black, had marched to the South African High Commission in Lusaka in protest against xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals in that country. Frustrated by the failure by officials at the High Commission to attend to them, the students who wanted to present the petition demanding that the authorities in that country put a stop to xenophobia turned violent as they started throwing stones at the High Commission, prompting police to use tear gas to disperse them. And President Edgar Lungu has condemned the students' violent conduct, describing it as unacceptable behavior. Our staffer Lazarus Chua has more details in this report.
The police was Wednesday morning forced to fire tear gas at outraged University of Zambia students who are protesting against the escalated xenophobic attacks in South Africa. The chanting students who began their protest by looting from South African-owned retail shops at East Park Mall put traffic to a standstill. Their target was the South African High Commission.
Because South Africa is part of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of a Human Being. But why should they turn against Africans?
So we need peace. The way we fought for the struggle for independence, that's how we should be united.
But currently the flag should drop. It's a symbol that at least something is being done.
While there, a clear determined students attempted to make their way past the police wall that blocked their entry into the High Commission. Their demand was to have a face-to-face audience with the South African High Commissioner to Zambia. After realizing, however, that the police would not give way, the angered students became unruly. This was, however, met with tear smoke, and what seems to be an untiring atmosphere reduced to calmness. The police took control of the situation and nabbed some of the leaders of protesting students.
They've got the contracts. More than $3 million of contracts every month is going to South Africa. Our people are just working as drivers. Drivers getting very little money. Then when we come to talk to the ambassador here, we are being harassed by our own people. We will not stand with this. And our own people, the police are harassing people. They cannot even protect us.
While they have made their anger known over the escalated xenophobic attacks against foreign nationals in South Africa, the students' behavior has, however, not settled well with President Edgar Lungu. In a statement, President Lungu, who has described their behavior as unacceptable, has nevertheless condemned the criminal acts of xenophobia in South Africa. The president is particularly concerned about escalated targeted violence against Zambians in that country. An opposition Socialist Party 2021 presidential candidate Fred Membe has also aired out his displeasure over the escalated xenophobia in South Africa. In his view, all have a right to be angered by the xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals in that country.
We all have the right to be angered by the xenophobic attacks on fellow Africans being carried out by ignorant and criminal elements in that country. But the distressing xenophobic attacks we are seeing in South Africa should not turn us into animals. Therefore, our leaders, political or otherwise, must avoid inflammatory statements that can easily encourage weak souls to resort to criminal acts against South Africans.
Inspector General of Police Kakuma Kanganja, who earlier toured the looted South African-owned retail shops, has also called for calmness among university students.
I appeal to the students to remain calm and not be violent, because violence will not solve their grievances. Let them air their grievances in a peaceful manner.
At least 5 foreign nationals are so far being reported to have been killed in the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Apart from students' protests in Zambia, it has also been reported that in Nigeria, there is almost a similar outrage over the said xenophobic attacks. Lazarus Ichula, QTV News.
The SADC Council of NGOs has called on the Southern African Development Community SADC to take urgent action on the xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals in South Africa. SADC Council of NGOs Executive Director Glenn Farad says that the recent outbreak of violence in South Africa is a matter of great concern for South Africa, the SADC region and Africa as a whole. Mr. Farad says it is undeniable that the prevailing atmosphere of racist anti-African xenophobia has arisen in South Africa. He says it is a matter of great alarm that political parties in South Africa, without exception, have pandered to narrow, vulgar and distorted nationalism, which is not only legitimizing prejudice and bias, but feeds the cycle of hate and racism. Mr. Farage adds that the continued violence in South Africa is a matter of grave concern for all Africans and must be placed urgently on the agenda of SADC to assist the government of South Africa to intervene in this situation. He states that the South African government and all SADC member states must guarantee the safety and respect for human rights of all foreign nationals present within their borders.
We have characterized this violence as racist xenophobia. We do not believe that there are sporadic acts of criminality. All indications are that these are semi-organized protests which are finding support amongst the political elites within South Africa, and they are exploiting the poverty and violence in that country. It is unfortunate that South Africa and South Africans are turning their back on the region, especially the countries who have helped to liberate South Africa from apartheid and colonialism. We believe that after 25 years, inequality, unemployment, and violence are taking their toll on poor South Africans, and they are being encouraged to take their hatred out on fellow African brothers and sisters. So we have appealed to the South African government to meet with the responsible leadership of the communities that are affected by this violence and to jointly develop a clear strategy to prevent it recurring.
The 2019 to 2020 rainy season forecast indicates that much of the country is likely to receive normal to above normal rainfall. Minister of Transport and Communications, Matoto Kafaya, however, states that there is a likelihood of dry spells around February 2020, especially over the southern half of the country. He has told a media briefing in Lusaka that there is a high chance that most of the rainfall the country will be received in the months of November, December, January and March. Mr. Kafaya has also revealed that the country may experience increased chance of floods and flash floods in flood-prone areas. He has since advised farmers to store their harvested crops properly to avoid damage. Mr. Kafaya is urging farmers and other stakeholders to regularly get in touch with the Ministry of Transport and Communications to access meteorological forecasts and updates. The minister has since encouraged all sectors and communities to incorporate the 2019-2020 rainy season early warning information in their plans and decision-making processes.
As we progress into December, January, and February, there is a likelihood of receiving normal to above normal rainfall for the southern half of the country, while the northern half has a high chance of recording above normal rainfall. In the final 3 months of the season, January, February, and March, the northern half of the country has a high chance of receiving normal to above normal rainfall, while the southern half is likely to receive normal to below normal rainfall. Ladies and gentlemen, each season comes with diverse implications across sectors. In this regard, I wish to inform the nation that 2019-2020 rainy season may experience the following. 1, dry spells around February over the southern half of the country. And 2, increased chance of floods and flash floods in flood-prone areas.
Government says it has invested over 1.4 billion kwacha in digital technology infrastructure. Officiating at the Digital Economy Diagnostic Multi-Stakeholder Workshop organized by the World Bank in Lusaka, Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet, Christopher Mvunga, expressed concern that despite the investments being put in by government, the level at which citizens are embracing digital technology is quite low. Mr. Mvunga has dispelled the notion that digital technology will reduce on jobs, stating that it will instead help in redeveloping skills in the workforce. He says achieving the Vision 2030 of Zambia becoming a prosperous middle-income country can best be achieved in a smarter way through the use of technology. Mr. Mvunga has noted that ICTs, when used effectively, can contribute to increased productivity in the country. He has since urged all citizens to embrace and utilize digital technology and infrastructure that has been put in place for a more productive and prosperous economy.
It is imperative that as a country we all move at the same pace with a focused agenda, both private sector and government. This is the reason why this workshop includes representation from the government, from the private sector, from academia, from civil society, from cooperating partners, from startup incubators, and indeed ordinary citizens. I think at this point in time, when I was looking at the 5 pillars, I'm glad to report that we did anticipate this as a government, and we've invested over $1.4 billion in infrastructure, digital infrastructure, because we do realize that if you want to buy a plane, you need to build a runway first. If you want to buy a Ferrari, you need to build a road first. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Zambian government, in achieving its Vision 2030 of becoming a prosperous middle-income country, recognizes that this can be achieved in a smarter manner through the use of technology, leading to a transformed smart Zambia. The technology will bring increased efficiency, facilitate wider and effective reach to all our citizens. ICTs, when used effectively and efficiently,
Speaking earlier at the same event, World Bank Country Manager Dr. Shak Punde disclosed that the 2019 World Development Report reveals that reaching the area goal of universal and affordable internet coverage will raise growth per capita by 2 percentage points per year and reduce poverty headcount by 1 percentage points, hence the need to close the digital infrastructure gap on growth and inclusion. Mr. Punde has, however, noted that in order for digital technologies to have a positive effect on jobs, quick improvements need to be made in digital infrastructure, skills, and the broader business environment in particular.
So what is the impact of closing the digital infrastructure gap on growth and inclusion? The report finds that reaching the African Union's goal of universal and affordable internet coverage with universal penetration of mobile services would raise growth per capita by 2 percentage points per year and reduce poverty headcount by 1 percentage point per year. When these are complemented by human capital investments, growth per capita increases by about 5 percentage points, while the poverty headcount falls by 2.5 percentage points per year. So the potential for digital transformation is there. The purpose of the digital economy diagnostic that was carried out in Zambia and other countries is to better understand what is working well and what needs to be improved in order for Zambia to realize the efficiency, productivity, and inclusion gains.
Housing and Infrastructure Development Minister Vincent Mali has disclosed that the housing policy has now been revised. Mr. Mali states that his ministry is also in the process of reviewing and revising the National Housing Authority Act. Speaking when he officiated at the 4th Zambia Investment Forum in Lusaka, Mr. Mali says the government wants to make the act more responsive to the needs and demands for decent and affordable housing. He states that to this effect, government intends to give the housing sector the same attention being given to the road sector. Mr. Mali says government has realized that of the money borrowed for infrastructure development, very little has gone to the housing sector compared to road construction.
And I just want to say that as government, we want to make sure that this sector is given the attention similar to the attention given to the road sector and other sectors. And I'm sure you know very well that in this country we have done a lot to improve our roads. In fact, we have borrowed so much money to make sure that we open up the whole country. Rural areas, urban areas, a lot of money that has gone in, but very little has gone in the housing sector, especially providing affordable housing to our people. For example, in Lusaka alone, we have more than 70% of our people living in slums in our compounds, where there are no proper toilets, we have no proper water, no water points. People, put up pit latrines and they dig shallow wells, to help themselves. No access to clean water. The end result.
People's Alliance for Change PAC President Alfred Banda says his party will not make submissions to the Parliament Select Committee on proposals and amendments to the Constitution. Mr. Banda, however, states that his party will instead write to the committee explaining why it is important to do away with all the NDF proposals. He states that his party cannot make submissions on proposals and amendments to a process which it does not approve of. Mr. Banda says if genuine dialogue has failed, which seems to be the case currently, the country should operate on the already existing constitution provisions and leave the process of enacting a new constitution until after the 2021 general election.
We are going to write a letter that will explain why it is important to abandon the National Dialogue Forum proposals. As we have said it before and we shall say it again, the day that the National Dialogue process was hijacked and bulldozed by the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General, that's the day that genuine dialogue died. We cannot submit or propose amendments to a constitution that its process we have not approved. If we had approved the process on how those proposals came about, probably we would by now have submitted further refinement. As we have said it before, most of the proposals that came from the National Dialogue Forum were not the contentious issues that necessitated dialogue. So we would like to appeal to Parliament not to tolerate the discussions of the National Dialogue Forum. Would like to appeal to those that have got the mandate to withdraw, the proposal of the National Dialogue Forum. And like we said before,
Chief Wunda, the 10th of the Swahili-speaking people in Funza district, has appealed to government to immediately send relief food to the area. Chief Wunda says some people in his chiefdom are facing starvation. He has told QTV News in an interview that he has taken up the matter with the relevant government authorities, including the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit. Details in this report.
Many people in the country are facing hunger because of last year's poor harvest caused by the El Nino weather pattern. According to Southern Africa Development Community SADC report forecast, 2.3 million Zambians will be food insecure by March after large parts of the southern and western areas of the country received the lowest rainfall since at least 1981. I recently visited Rufonsa district of Southern Province. The situation is not good, as its Member of Parliament explains.
Talk about hunger. It's a very sad situation. There's a lot of hunger in Rufonsa constituency. The other day we went round in some area where we found that women were picking up fruits. Those fruits are fed to the children in form of porridge. You can imagine, because there is no food. They didn't do well. One, even the fertilizers come in late, and to crown it all, we didn't have proper rainfall.
The area Member of Parliament shares with this reporter what she wants government to do to address this situation.
So we expect that the government should put in effort to bring food to the areas, relief food. And when we talk about them declaring this as a national disaster, it's not political. It is a reality. People are suffering.
Chief Wunda, the 10th of the Swahili-speaking people in Rufonsa district, is calling on government to come to their aid.
The government is trying by all means to bring relief food. But you see, this is a countrywide problem. Now, when it's a countrywide problem, it means there are a lot of people in that situation. And the government is trying, by all means, trying to take food everywhere. But we are trying also to see how we can do on our own, but it is difficult. We are all, on the hunger situation was simply relying on the government at the moment because we don't have money. If we had money as a chieftain, we would have done it on our own as well.
But Rufunsa Town Council chairperson has this assurance.
But our government, under his able leadership of Dr. Edgar Chagwarungu, is aware about the situation and he has assured the nation that no one is going to die with hunger. So far, so good. Rufunsa is receiving relief food. The next consignment, 2 weeks from now, we are going to receive another relief food. And the government has said that after 2 months, relief food will be coming until the next rain season. So I'm appealing to people to have much patience about the same, because my president is doing everything possible that people of Rufunsa won't die with hunger.
Favorite Kalando, QTV News in Rufunsa District, Lusaka Province.
Zambia Alliance for Youth with Disabilities has threatened to stage a protest if government does not address what it has termed as discriminatory laws pertaining to the issuance of driver's licenses to hearing impairment persons. Alliance General Secretary Frankson Musukwa says Zambia is the only country in the Southern African Development Community SADC region that does not allow people with hearing impairment to acquire driver's licenses. He has told QTV News that the current Road Transport and Safety Agency Act is an infringement on the rights of the deaf people, hence the need to amend it. Mr. Musukwa, who spoke through an interpreter, Chola Kawano, reveals that despite engaging the authorities so that the issue is addressed, nothing tangible has been done.
But my worry is that other deaf people after me, they've been denied to be issued with driver's license. From 2014 up to date, evidence is there that none of us deaf people in Zambia has ever caused an accident. So why is it, what has really gone wrong with RATSA for them not to be issuing us with driver's license? So this is the right opportunity that you journalists are here. I want you to take this opportunity to also ask the minister to comment on this issue that I've also come to meet with him. If nothing is not going to happen, the next route that we are going to take is to protest and demonstrate, because we feel that they are infringing on our rights. We've written letters, evidence of those letters are there, correspondence. About 3 years ago, we've been writing all these letters, and the answers that were given is, no, we can't give you driver's license because how are you going to be hearing on the road? Those are the stories that they give. But we also want to challenge them.
The Ministry of Transport and Communications Permanent Secretary Misha Kulungu says the ministry is aware of the challenges people with hearing impairment are facing and is making effort to address their concerns.
I think for some time we had a problem within our ministries where we had interpretation issues of what we needed to do. So the two institutions, my ministry and Ministry of Home Affairs, have resolved that, and now we've agreed to take the amendment to cabinet. So we will be taking the amendment to cabinet, and when cabinet gives clearance, it will go to parliament. So it's, in short, it's work in progress, because as it goes to parliament, it will take that course of parliament, committees and that kind of thing, until such a time that it's approved from parliament. That's when you see us implementing. But it's a concern that we equally share with our colleagues who are differently able, and I'm sure having started the process, we should be able to resolve in earnest. Thank you very much.
Opposition United Party for National Development UPND Secretary General Stephen Katuka says the planned protest by the Patriotic Front against defunct NDC President Chishima Kambuli over his alleged insults against President Edgar Lungu is not necessary. Mr. Katuka says this is considering that the matter is already before the courts of law. He adds that there is no need for the ruling Patriotic Front to start protesting against an individual when the country is faced with a lot of challenges, ranging from high minimum prices to load shedding, among others. Mr. Katuka states that the planned protest by the ruling party will not benefit anyone.
But to cut a long story short, there is no need. It's just the lawlessness that has crept into our country that is unfortunate. You see that the matter is before a court of law. Parliament is making their own decision, also they are ruling against a matter that is before the court of law. So we appeal to the PF not to go ahead with such demonstrations. We have better things to talk about or to demonstrate about. The price of meal has gone up. Load shedding is now from 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours. Those directly affect the Zambian citizens, and those are the issues that involve the governance of a country. So they should be concentrating on things that affect the Zambian people, not on things that do not affect us in any way. If they demonstrate against Chimakambiri, so what? And what will happen? The matter has already been taken to court, so it's for the courts to pass a rule.
Kenya Member of Parliament Kapera Bangweta is hopeful that his constituency will receive the 2019 Constituency Development Fund before the end of the year. Mr. Bangweta says that the failure by government to disperse the 1.6 million kwacha CDF is causing the constituency to lag further behind in terms of development. He has implored government to prioritize the new districts such as in Kenya when it comes to the disbursement of CDF so that they can also be developed. Mr. Mbangweta is of the view that CDF should be given in full at the beginning of every year without members of parliament having to lobby for it. He states that a number of projects under the CDF have stalled in the constituency due to lack of funding. The Zambia Institute.
We haven't received the CDF fund yet. We are hoping we will receive from the indications which were given before the end of the year. But again, it's dodgy because the funding arrangements or constraints has or appears to have escalated. So it's a matter of touch wood if we receive because of that constraint which has come up. Yeah, but nobody has received anything. We are just looking forward to this. What I'm talking about are carryover issues from the past and then waiting for procurement processes and that sort of thing. Yeah. But we can say, oh, I almost forgot one of the most important projects also to start. We are building a market at the Mkuye Cross there. It's a CDF project at the funding there, 250,000 out of the money which was allocated. That, yeah.
The Zambia Institute of Planners has called for increased budgetary allocations to planning departments across all local authorities in the country in the context of decentralization. Speaking during the 4th National Planning Conference in Lusaka, ZIP President Kopa Chibamba notes that additional resources will enable planners to engage with citizens directly on real issues faced in the communities. Mr. Chibamba says increased budgetary allocation will also help local authorities develop plans that promote responsible resource usage. He has also implored planners in the country to pay more attention to what communities want and help guide policymakers to make laws and policies that put the people first regardless of their education or status in society.
Additional resources will enable planners to engage with citizens directly on the real issues that communities face and be able to develop contextually appropriate plans that promote responsible resource use and deepening of cultural and social interests for improved quality of life. We affirm our stance as an institute that integrated development planning is the way to go. Number 2, planning as a special purpose tool. We recognize the important role that the various special assistants to the Republican President, play in ensuring projects and all other works are done and done well. They are doing an amazing role. However, we feel that the lack of a special assistant to the President on matters of spatial planning.
And officiating at the same event, local government Minister Charles Banda, in a speech read on his behalf by Lusaka Mayor Noel Sampa, implored planners to commit themselves to urban productivity in order to help the country make impressive economic progress. He says government is supporting planners in the best ways possible, as can be seen through the launch of the Integrated Development Guidelines, preparation of the urbanization policy, and the appointment of the planning tribunals. Mr. Sampa says about 60% of settlements in the city are poorly planned, with no proper access roads and adequate space for houses.
The government remains committed to making Zambia a prosperous and middle-income country by 2030, at the core of realizing that vision is ensuring that I'll read that again. The government remains committed to making Zambia a prosperous and middle-income country by 2030. And at the core, realizing that vision is ensuring that Zambia is a well-planned country, not like Lusaka, where we have houses in Karingaringa, and now we have to create roads somewhere there because the planning wasn't done properly, and we can't chase the people. 60% of Lusaka, it's like that. A few places, Matelo, Chile, about their roads, but there are others who
Mtendere Ward 30 Councillor Nelson Tonga has appealed to law enforcement agencies to help address the high levels of drug abuse in Mtendere by young people. Mr. Mtonga has likened the levels of drug abuse by youths in the area to that of Chiwala compound, which is believed to be Lusaka's drug abuse hotspot. He states that the increase in drug abuse has resulted in the crime rate in the area rising. Mr. Mtonga feels the situation can be arrested with the concerted efforts of law enforcement agencies. To end the news, we recap on stories making headlines. President Edgar Lungu has condemned the University of Zambia students for their violent conduct during their protest against xenophobic attacks in South Africa. The Southern African Development Community SUMBWE has been called upon to take urgent action on the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. And the 2019-2020 rainy season forecast indicates that much of the country is likely to receive normal to above normal rainfall. On that note, we end the news. Thank you for watching.